cards and comics. And today I want to talk to you about a subject I've been thinking about a little bit, and it was really kicked off by Neo's video about Are Card Shows Doomed? And this video is not about card shows, but it's about YouTube card show channels. Are they doomed? And this was spurred not only by this Neo video, but also Sports Card Anonymous came back with a video where he announced that he's probably going to change some of his content. And I think this is the natural progression as the hobby itself changes. And as things get less popular, people aren't going to beat their heads against the wall, so to speak, to make this YouTube thing work for them. If cards aren't popular, comics aren't popular, aren't driving views, I could see where a lot of folks may just give up and not continue in this space. Now, there's some other things to consider here. When you really look at the community of collecting and the people who put out content, there's definitely some different types. And I think the types that are driven on the idea of making money and investing, those are going to be hit the hardest. And the ones focused on collecting and just having fun with cards will survive. Now, the video I was talking about from Dakota was State of the Hobby Mass Exodus, so what? And he just kind of goes over what he thinks he's going to be focusing on in the future and sort of what's been going on with him. Which is a good video, very well produced. He's got some good production values, much higher than my channel for sure. And I think for creators who I think Dakota is more of a creator than just like a sports card guy. They're going to find ways to generate interesting content no matter what. Now, so you just know I'm on the road. I'm not in the dungeon where I normally do my videos. In a hotel, kind of waiting for us to go to where we're going for the day, and everything I have to kind of get done from that perspective. So, early morning, kicking off with a little video here. Now, the one thing, I mentioned, and the one thing I look at when I look at channels in terms of how are we doing as a hobby, right? If you look at the popularity of sports cards channels, the one thing I do kind of look at is, if you take let's say a channel and look at, how popular the videos are, and by time, you can see, is a channel growing in views or is it declining? Is the interest leveling off? And if you look at Sports Card Investor, you'll see that his highest rated views, for the most part, you have one from 9 months ago, but for the most part are 1 or 2 years old. And this shows me that not only is the channel becoming, it's not growing in terms of view count, where every month the content's getting bigger and bigger and more people are viewing the content. It's actually going the other direction. And it just shows that you can see that, 10 months, so here's the first video where you can really see that he's under 2 months. But again, that is, in the video number 25 or 26. So, his best performing videos came, over a year ago to 2 years ago, for the most part. And if you, again, if you just scroll down, you'll see most of the videos on his top list are a lot older. And that just shows the hobby was a lot more interested in cards 6 months, 12 months, 2 years ago than it is today. Now you take someone like Neo, and you look at and you sort, by most popular. You'll see that he actually has videos, in the top 10 or 15 from just 4 months ago, right? There's one right there. I believe there's another one right here. There's another one, right here. So, he's a couple videos definitely in his top 15, top 20 that are just a couple months old. So you can see that, where I view Neo versus Sports Card Investor. Really, one is really focused on value, one is very focused on the next hot thing, and Neo's channel is more of a news channel and collector channel, right? Like, hey, here's an update, what's happening in the hobby. Oh, here's some cool stuff, and here's some pricing, reviews, which is, somewhat similar to what Sports Card Investor does with the pricing, but it's not the main focus of the channel, and I think that's what helps Neo kind of survive. But even looking at comic books, and this was really interesting for me, I looked at Reggie Collects. And I view him to be a completely, almost 100% collector-based channel, right? He does some things about value and pricing, but I mean, he has tons of, comic book pressing and submission videos, and just a lot of videos about, collecting, how to collect, how to do different things, and all that. So, very collector-based channel, and you can see he's got the same issue. A lot of 2- and 3-year-old videos, 6 years, when he was doing more of his workout videos, but still, a lot of older videos listed here, right? You don't really see a video, and there's a 6-month ago video right here, but that, again, that's, in his top 30, 35 videos, right? It just shows that, like, even in comic books, the definitely the attention is waning for views, and for people who are going to work in this space and hope that we can continue to have a growing viewership. I think if you're in this space now, you're going to have less viewers than you had 2 years ago, and it could even go down further as the value of cards and comics continue to go down with the economy, with inflation. So it does ask the question is, at what point will people either give up, quit putting out content, or change it to other types of content to make it more interesting for them? Because there was I posted a question in Sports Card Dad where, or someone had left a comment in Sports Card Dad video saying something like, these influencers that will get out of the hobbies, who wants to do all this work for 100 views? And I'm looking at my channel going like, yeah, like I 100 views is like my target for my channel. Like that's a good video for me is 100 views. And it's about what I average, but I have, but if you look at it, about half my videos are under 100 and about half are over. So I definitely don't hit it every video, about every other video. And, but it just shows that, like, if you are passionate about what you collect and what you buy and, what you're doing, no one cares. And there's a lot of other channels like, New York Yankee Fan, there is Wade Box Collector, those guys will be putting out content no matter what, because they just love collecting and love showing off with their collections. Other people who are banking on the views for money are definitely going to have to find something else in the future, in my opinion. And especially the guys who are out going card show to card show, putting out videos to generate enough views to create money. I think those days are kind of over. That was probably a lot of fun for those guys. Like, hey, I could go to card shows, generate enough views on my channel to pay for it, do some trading, do some flipping, do some selling, and I'm and this is great. And I think, unfortunately, maybe those kind of days are over in the hobby for a little bit, to where you can make money doing that to pay for it. I think it's going to be very tough to generate enough views in the future. Now, and another thing that's probably not going to help, and I'm just going to talk about it, is this Netflix collectible show featuring King Golden. And the number one thing we should be very scared about is the idea that it's going to be developed and produced by the same guys who do Pawn Stars. So you can already tell from the tone that this is going to be a pump and dump show, big time. Because Pawn Stars, a lot of their stuff is fake. And so now you've got Ken Golden, who is one of the original OG shady dudes in the hobby, who ripped off Kobe Bryant, didn't pay him for his autographs, left tons of collectors holding worthless redemptions from Scoreboard when they went bankrupt, was on Home Shopping Network peddling cards that were worth nothing, trying to sell to people late at night who were, in a lot of cases, grandmas and grandpas. This guy is going to now be on this Pawn Star show, which has very little morals and value anyway, and it's just going to be crazy. And it's why you're seeing him pumping up this stupid LeBron James triple logo, because I guarantee you that's probably going to be heavily featured on a show like this, where it's the greatest card ever made, and we're going to walk through the sale of it. But if you think about it, Pawn Stars is fake sales. It's like they pay people, they give them stuff, they walk in, and they do a fake transaction, and then it's filmed, and that's the show. Can you imagine in this hobby where they say, okay, I'm going to give you a Ty Cobb card to sell in this auction, and then we're going to have a fake bidder, and they're going to bid on it, and we're going to talk about how great the card sold for, and it didn't actually sell. Is that what's going to happen on the show? Are we going to go this far down? And the reason I bring it up in the terms of media is that if you think of YouTube as media, and the idea that we've got the hobby branching out to Netflix shows, and we're going to go in this direction. We're not going to go in collector and hobby focused directions. We're going into this pump and dump. Ken Golden is the greatest seller sports card ever direction, and look at how high all these cards are bringing again. I think people are just going to look at that as being that time is sort of past. We all understand that that's not true anymore. B, this is the wrong guy to really be doing that with. And for a lot of other reasons too. I mean, he's not very likable on camera. He just does not have great presence, just from a guy you'd want to even hang out with. I see a Ken Golden video, and it's just like, okay, this guy's kind of like someone I would never want to just talk to in the hobby. There's other guys you want to say, yeah, even sports card investor. I'd like to talk to Jeff. I think it'd be a very interesting conversation. And I really feel like they went in the Ken Golden direction because of PSA, because of his prior ties, and they didn't really investigate sort of like all the shady stuff he's been involved in. And so we have Ken Golden as being their spokesman for the hobby. And it's not going to go well, because at the end of the day, it's going to end up being a fake show with fake sales, most likely, about the cards that people really don't care about. And this is what we're going to get. So, I think that's not going to help the hobby. And if you're a creator banking on stuff from the hobby, growing by these kind of shows, because, people always remember the Michael Jordan, special, how that grew his cards. I guarantee you we're going to see some people out there talking about how this Ken Golden show is going to make card values go up again, and people will flock to YouTube wanting to listen to people on YouTube anymore, and it's just probably not going to be the case. So now, but at the end of the day, the people who care about collectors, care about the community, care about what they're doing in terms of just their own hobby interest in collecting, they'll survive, because if they get one view or a million views, that's not why they're doing it. And so those channels will be fine. The people who really were depending on the views to pay for their hobby or pay for their interest in the hobby, I think they're going to go away. I think we're not going to see those guys hardly anymore. they'll morph into other channels or into other areas, and that's fine. Nothing against that. It's just, they won't be as involved in this hobby, and I think that's that's a good growth and evolution, because we went through a period of time which won't be replicated for a good while, and the hobby is going to change. The hobby always changes. Every 5 years it's something different, and so I think this is a natural evolution of what's going on. And for people who just want to collect cards and want to do this for fun, nothing's going to change for those folks. And as hobbyists out there, nothing's going to change for you in terms of how you enjoy the hobby, except maybe things will get a little cheaper. And that's great. So I think the future is still really awesome for collectors, and for people who just want to have fun. So that's my take on, the future of, YouTube, and, for people on YouTube. Now, that's it for me, guys. I'll see you next time, and hope you guys are having a great day. And bye.